Okay, I'm just going to be really swift and quick with what I'm about to say. These streams of these discussions of what something is, that is just the human level interpretation of what that is. And that has been given and fueled and provoked for the humans to be tailored to that narrative because they have certain inclinations and attitudes in how they treat it, for better or for worse. Because an interpretation is just an interpretation. So what am I really talking about? Honestly, anything that's really, deeply mythological. And what's deeply mythological is, when you go through the rings of whatever this whatever the school system really is, when we're going through the rings, they have their set out agenda, syllabus, and curriculum for you to be casually engineered how they want you to be engineered per their society. So there's an engineering happening chemically and mentally to your character, your surface level character, but we forgot what we are. We're spirit, obviously, and that spirit is like hidden within all the different layers. We're going away from God and his great illusion of 50-50, but it's not all necessarily an illusion because there's objective truths to the quote unquote illusion. There's stuff that we're going through, these different types of circuits of mechanics of spatial infrastructures. And what do I mean by spatial infrastructures? Us coming from some sort of origin point before the galaxy was originated. So here's two examples that I could say right now. So one example is how we're interpreting the Titans versus the gods. That is like that's so interchangeable and intermixable. What do I mean by that? Because the Titans, that before the human interpretation and the plastering of what we dub and theme as the Titans, that was the original in a different interpretation and in a different allegory. The Titans were the god versus the gods were the original spiritual conscious beings versus the original first primary material conscious beings, which were one and the same and of each other, but they were also different and not of each other. And their war is endless, quote unquote, but it's not necessarily a war that is good or bad. It's just a war of energy mechanics, of opposition, of how one is better suited for one field of energy and one is better suited for another field of energy, and they both depend on each other because the material needs the spirit for the material to be animated, and the spirit needs the material for the spirit to go into the external reality and experience change and differentiation. So that's the essence of the endless war. And I don't know why I came on this secondary phone, because it's only has 6 minutes on the dock and my new phone has more time, but I just wanted to upload this on the Libra Lord for some reason, because I haven't been uploading on the Libra Lord. And so that's pretty much, that I've been doing like the underground like content. I've already got my momentum, and there's more details on that, but that's the original interpretation of the Titans versus the gods. And within that, there, even though we don't necessarily know when that happened, the original war of the quote unquote, hyper allegorical Titans versus gods, end quote, because how long ago that happened, then their level and their relationship with change and evolution is way beyond the humans and AI respectively, because AI, you're not understanding the context of AI, of how they're using it. It's just a different type of firmware that just documents pretty much a little bit of everything, and we're having a new remnant of that within this human realm, and we think we could like overcome the material and the hyper material original beings and the hyper spiritual original beings, which we necessarily can't, because they already are they're the ones that created they're the ones that started the war, and now we're reflecting the war and refracting the war on so many different filter channels that now this is the reflection of that war, but we're not understanding why it is and how it is, and how it could be solved, or how it could just be allowed based on how people are participating, on how they're being conformed to a polarity, they're being conformed to a duality of being too much material or too much spiritual. No, there's a supreme balance in between that we're not necessarily recognizing. And you and your biasness and your emotions and your perspectives and your beliefs, you have to take responsibility for that, because there's insight that can counteract all of that with balanced insight. And if you don't understand that, that's cool. I'm gonna come back. I don't know why I came on this phone, but yeah. And I have another one talking about, like, I have another breakdown of like what the whole M Vishnu thing really is, because like that conversation that's been happening for like online for like 15 years plus, and that has already been transcended. Everybody and how they talk about it, you misrepresent it. Stop it.